Hello and welcome to another episode of the Your Way podcast. So I've got a short and sweet episode for you today. I want to talk about why it takes time to do this work. And this is really for those of you who are maybe a little bit frustrated. You started doing this work, it's taking longer than you expected. Maybe things that you wanted to work on feel like they're getting worse before they get better. And the good news is it's all completely normal. And today I'm going to walk you through why and what you can do about it. So, most of the time, you start this work because you recognize that you've got one or more behaviors that are not really working for you in your life now. So, it might be overworking, the inability to switch off, overeating, people pleasing, perfectionism, all of these different things. And so you decide that you want to tackle this stuff and you want to look at it. And it sometimes does feel a little bit tricky at first. And there's a really good reason for this. For those patterns, the overeating, the people pleasing, the perfectionism, the overworking, the inability to switch off, the overgiving, they are what we would call survival patterns. So at a point in time in your life, you have adapted the way you behave by taking on one or more of those patterns, if you're really lucky, all of those patterns, in order for your body and brain to feel safe in the world that you exist in at that point in time. And then those patterns become your norm, right? They're just how you are. You just overgive, you just overwork, you just overeat, you just people please. And so when you start to look at this stuff, whilst your brain might be on board for like, this isn't helping me anymore, don't want to do this anymore. Maybe you're carrying extra weight, you want to stop the binge eating when you feel stressed. Maybe you really, really, really want to stop working after the end of the workday. You want to be able to switch off, but you can't. Where your brain might be like, but I'd love to switch off, but I can't. What is also going on is you're having a physiological response because your body that houses the survival patterns, whose job, the job of your nervous system is to keep you safe, is like, no, we can't stop doing that thing. Because if I stop doing that thing, I'm going to die. Your brain might know you're not going to die, but your body doesn't. And so the patterns can get bigger, they can get louder, they can get even more intense. And this is because you haven't connected the dots between your brain, your body, and your nervous system that that pattern is no longer required. And until you do that, that pattern is not going to go away. And this is not an overnight thing, right? You might cognitively understand quite quickly, like, sometimes people are like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or you've given me lots to think about. Until you feel it, move through it, and actually integrate it kind of at a cellular level, as well as just intellectually, it's going to continue to feel hard. And it's at that point that people most often want to quit because they're like, it's too hard. The people pleasing, it's like, it's all just too hard. Okay. And so, my message to you today is that all you need to do is to keep going. Nothing has gone wrong. Your body is doing its job to try and keep you safe. Your job is to teach your body that it is safe without those patterns. And there are many ways that you can go at that. You can use nervous system tools, you can use body tools, you can use emotional release tools. But ultimately, you are not going to think your way out of overworking, overeating, overgiving because it's a process. And so, my love, heartfelt message to you at this time is that if this is you, keep going, keep getting support, keep asking for help, and trust that the more you do this work, the more the patterns will unravel, and the more you will be able to exist in harmony with yourself without these patterns, and the more you will then get to have the life that you want to have. If you are listening to this and you are like, I really need some help with this, please reach out to me. This is absolutely my area of expertise. And otherwise, I'm going to say it one more time, keep going. because the work works. You just sometimes have to stay at it a little bit longer than you might like. And if it feels harder at the start, again, it's very normal. It's because your survival patterns are screaming back at you. Your job is to help those survival patterns to to feel safe so that they are no longer needed. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye. Before you go, I so hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, I'd like to ask you a favor, please, because the way that this podcast grows and the way that more people get to benefit from these materials is that more people find it. And that means that subscribes and likes and shares are so important to this space. So, my ask of you, if you got value from the podcast today, is give it a review, give it a like, share it with a friend, and make sure that you are subscribed. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you being here. And I look forward to continuing to support you to do life, business, relationships, and all of it your way.